All right, welcome to another speed sculpting challenge. And in the last video, I had a comment to try sculpting the ear, and I think that's a great idea to do as our next feature. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be trying to, in 10 minutes, sculpt the ear as best I can. Do about a life-size version, or maybe just a little bit larger than the life-size version. And I realized that I'm actually going through and I'm doing a lot of the assignments for the portrait sculpting course. You know, there's an assignment to do the eye study and the ear study, and actually each of the facial features. And so I'll be going through and doing those. Let me know what you'd like to see next, or what you'd like me to see, or what you'd like to see me do after I'm done with these facial feature studies, because I would be curious what people are interested in, and I might just do it. So we're going to start with the helix, which just wraps around, big spiral wrapping around. And let's make sure that that's plenty large, coming out of the surface enough, and just fairly big pieces of clay, moving it around. In this case, I guess I'm doing a, what is that, left ear? From my perspective. So, if you're interested in portrait sculpting, then I hope you'll check out the portrait sculpting course. I've been thinking about doing something else, because one of the difficult things with the online courses is just finding the motivation and drive to actually do the assignments. And so I was thinking that maybe, so the courses are kind of just a one-time purchase. You purchase it and then you own the course. But maybe through Patreon or another platform, like a monthly subscription of like, you know, $15 or something, we could create a student group of people that are in the courses, whether it's the portrait course, the figure course, the hand sculpting course, and just a place for motivating each other to do the assignments. So maybe we'll like, each week we'll have a new assignment that I recommend that people do during that week, and then you can show examples. You know, you could do other assignments and things like that, but just as a way to kind of motivate people. If everybody's working on the same thing at the same time, I find that that is just an easier way sometimes to get motivated and do something, and then kind of compare it to the other assignments. Maybe a little bit of competitiveness just in your own mind, comparing your own work to others. That's not always the best, but it can be helpful when you're, you know, just trying to. I think competition makes us all a little bit better. I really enjoy sculpture competitions, even though I've never won any, and I've participated in quite a few, but it's I find it to be very enjoyable, really fun. So here's the helix that starts on the inside of the ear and then kind of spirals, whoosh, wraps around. And I think of this as kind of like a question mark shape that comes and ends at the ear lobe down here. Let's do a hanging ear lobe. That's, or a detached, I think is what it's called, or a hanging. I think either way is a term that expresses it. And it's kind of this big, almost microphone or like shell shape. The concha on the back, it gets its name from being like a shell, shell-like, concha. Let's see. Let me look at it from the side. And ears have a lot of variation, and so even though these basic forms are somewhat the same from person to person, the inside forms and how they, you know, move in and out in space is often unique from person to person. Okay, once we have that, then there's the little Y shape inside of the ear. So question mark YU is what I always look for the ear. So we're going to do that. We've got the, I believe this is the crura of the antihelix. The Y is called the antihelix, so the helix wraps around the antihelix. It's going here inside. Let's pull that out a little bit more by adding clay to it. Sometimes the antihelix can even, from the side profile, it can even go past, depending on how these are formed. Sometimes it comes in space past when you're looking at it like here from the side view. But on average, usually it's you know, more on the inside of the ear. But let's build that up enough. That Y shape. Oh, we're halfway. And then there's a little bump at the bottom of the Y, and that transitions into this U form for the, what is that, the ear notch. But what are the tragus? The tragus and the antitragus. I think this is the tragus, this is the antitragus. And together they form this little U shape. So we got question mark, YU. Question mark, YU. Really easy way to remember the forms of the ear. But then representing them is the tricky thing, right? Let's add some clay in here. And that's not, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not looking particularly great at this point. Let's see. The ear, what makes it interesting a lot of the time is just the soft variations between form. You know, some places the transition is really sharp, usually in here. Let's use just a butter knife is the only tool I'll use here. Just kind of maybe sharp there. This wraps around a little bit more. I'll imagine that this side of the head comes forward a little bit more. Boom. We should also maybe move this earlobe forward a little bit because the ear is typically angled back just a little bit. So I'm going to push this back. This goes to the inside of the ear. The ear notch, the tragus, is about the midway point of the ear. I sometimes put it too low. Let me see, is that good? Boom. I think I moved the ear lobe a little bit too far down. Let's move that up. Forward a little bit. Oh, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Let's see if I can't make these forms just a little bit better. So let me know if you guys would be interested, like through Patreon or something else, on creating like a sculpture group where we do assignments together. Maybe I do them like this, like at the beginning of the week, and then everybody does that assignment for the week. Maybe we have, it'd probably just be one group, whether you're in the figure course or portrait course, and maybe I do one or two demos a week, and then we could all kind of motivate each other to sculpt more and show each other, you know, show our work. It'd have to be somewhere where we could post and share work and get critiques. I was thinking for like $15 a month. Let me know if that's something that people would be interested in joining. People have talked about doing it through Discord or something, and then maybe, I mean, there's a way to run it through Gumroad or Patreon if it's a subscription thing. And it's really, you know, the courses are a one-time purchase, but it's really just to help people take advantage fully of the courses by motivating them to actually do the assignments. Because if you don't do the assignments, then the courses are not gonna, you're not gonna see that benefit. And I really would like to see students, you know, master sculpture, but that requires some effort and some dedication and sometimes some external motivation, which, you know, if you're in college or something and you're there during a class sitting and that's just what you do, it's a little bit easier. But online we have to figure out other ways to motivate and get people to actually do those assignments or self-motivate to do those things so that you get all the benefit from it. 10 seconds. All right, man, we're coming to the end. And I think, you know, All right, there we are. One ear study. Got to put the clay down. I have a hard time stopping once that 10 minutes hits. I just want to keep messing with things, but we're going to call that good for now. So that's what the ear study is looking like. If you're interested in sculpting, check out those sculpting courses. If you oh dang it, I touched it again. If you'd like to join some sort of monthly thing to sculpt together and share your work and stuff, let me know and I'll set something up so that we can do that, because I think that would be beneficial. Just a way to create a group of sculptors that want to motivate each other to improve. That's the biggest thing. Stay creative, stay productive, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in another video.